Grand Rising and welcome to Presence of Light with Charlie Riverman Bergeron. And welcome to Humanity Healing. And thank you for your presence around the world and your ability to want a greater desire or have a greater desire to bring humanity together. This morning's talk is entitled Embracing and Releasing Aggravation. And I think what's interesting about that is that as we, each of us, embrace the world today, and we look around us and see what we have been through over the past year, many of us have had many moments where aggravation have taken our true presence and diminished it and brought us to places which were remorseful. When we left those places and energies, we felt badly about ourselves, or we felt that we weren't fully embodying the truth of who we were. And the word aggravation came up it came up right away this morning because I became aggravated. And I looked at that and I just, I've been thinking, it's like, we've come this far. And here is this energy field arising still. And I had to sit with that and look and say, okay, there's nothing wrong with it. But it's telling me something. And this is what I want everybody to think about, is that when we go through emotional issues, and always think of it as energy in motion, it really doesn't have to do with the true self that you are. It has to do with your physical body and the teachings that you grew up believing in and the people around you. So there's a big, larger picture to our emotional ability or disability. And we're programmed from childhood. Some of the programming is positive, and some of the programming is certainly not positive. However, it's the negative that comes out when we're aggravated. And what does that tell you? And what does that tell me this morning? Was that I'm allowing something other than who I truly am to take my power away and use it, or to direct it. And as I sat with that this morning, I looked and just said, this got to be spoken about, because it's not just happening to me. I have people calling me and talking about their frustration. They're talking about how people are just being nasty and mean. People who are highly gifted in knowledge of spiritual and energetic frequencies are going off the charts. And what is that energy? The energy is aggravation. But instead of embracing it and taking care of it within their own physical house, they project it out. They project it out upon others. And many of them are not really consciously aware, although some of them are very consciously aware. And those of us who get hit by that aggravation know exactly what it feels like. It's like getting run through with a sword. So good afternoon, good morning, whatever it is. I don't know. I'm in my 15-dimensional world here. Margaret, good morning. Happy Friday to you. Melissa, Julie, bless you all for being here. It's again, this is what it is. It's about embracing and releasing aggravation. And it's just funny how it all unfolded, and it took me a couple hours to go through this, and I was amazed at what I brought up within myself, and how it unfolded. So we'll begin this journey, and happy Easter from Toronto. Nighthawk, bless you. Yes, Easter blessings, blessings of every holiday for you. It's all you know holidays, holy days. Every day is a holiday, and especially if we can get rid of aggravation. So let today be a holiday of releasing aggravation. And appreciation is so important. Yes, thank you. So we're all in tune here. And so that's what I faced this morning, was this blank page, which I always do, especially on Fridays when I do these talks. I don't plan these talks. These are in the moment. These are come through when I wake up, and I embrace my day after saying thank you, you know, for allowing me to be present here. Then I get my coffee, and here I am after my show notes. Which you can find on my blog. And if you haven't visited my blog, um, it's WordPress, and let's see, it's Reflections of Riverman on WordPress. It's years. There's over 10 years of my writings, and all of these talks. So with that advertisement out of the way, this morning, as I said, I opened my eyes, and when I'm ready to get out of bed and greet the day, I always say thank you. And it's just a simple thank you, because it's an awareness that I am in my physical body, and that I have been taught, and I know personally, that there is another body which is non existent that we dwell in. Okay. And that's not important. What's important is we are here now in this physical body, and we're here together. And so, as I got on the computer this morning, I usually scan through my emails, and there's some daily readings that I read, and information that I get. And as I was reading those, and I was thinking about what was I going to talk about, I decided I'd post a poem I wrote yesterday on my blog. And usually it's a very simple process. You click, click, click. You have the routine. But over time, technology changes the way they do things. And then for some reason lately, I've been having this sort of interchange with the energy of websites. And I question, is it me? Is it them? And this morning it aggravated me. And when I went to review what I wrote, it looked good. When I posted it and got the email, it was all out of context and shape and form. And I went back, and it looked fine on the page. And I lost it. I got so aggravated and so filled with nonsense energy over a computer. And I had to stop. I had to stop in that moment and realize that all of this energy that was arising within me, which we all go through, it's not me, it's not you, we're all susceptible to this. And whether it's a computer, or your kids not eating their vegetables, or somebody knocking at the door when you're busy doing something. That moment of taking us to that place of aggravation is really something we have more control over than we have ever thought. And in that moment, I said, I'm not going to allow this. I'm not going to accept this. But in that non-acceptance, what am I going to learn from this? What can I take away from this simple thing that's happened repeatedly my whole lifetime and will continue to happen in the future lifetime? The difference being, I will react to it differently. I will look at it for what it is. It's a single moment out of a lifetime of billions and trillions of moments. And I'm not going to allow that moment to steal my energy anymore. Or at least I'm going to do the best I can. And that's my offering to you today, is we all have that moment of aggravation that arises within us. And we have a myriad of ways of being able to move through it and to process it without creating distortion within ourselves or affecting anyone else around us. And right now, this is key. When we look at the world around us right now, we see so much just instantaneous violence. I mean, it's just popping up everywhere. And I'm looking at this, it could be just a simple moment of built up aggravation in all of us. And then all of a sudden, boom, the next moment of aggravation flares up, and now all that we're holding, that we don't need to hold, blows up. We've all been there. We all know what that feels like. It comes out as anger, it comes out as rage. And in that moment of rage, we're no longer in control. And this is why it's so important for us to deal with and recognize simple aggravation as not only just as individuals, but as a whole collective. So each of you, I'm sure, have little things that aggravate you. And the question is, why? Why do they aggravate you? You don't have to go into a long, detailed thought process of this, but I just want to plant that seed. When we're aggravated, what we're realizing is that it changes our energetic structure. Just like that. It doesn't have an intention of its own, doesn't have any desire of its own. It's just an energetic shift in the frequencies that are running through our body. And if we can look at that as just that, it's not personal, it's not you, it's not me, it's not them, it's not us, it's not God, it's not the planet, it's not the politics, it's not the control mechanism, it's not the media, it's energy. And we are powerful energy beings. And what's being shown to us right now is that we have to learn to control our energy in a way, and I don't like the word control, but let's put it, manage our energy in ways that are less harmful to ourselves and invariably less harmful to others. Because the world is changing. We're not here to stop the world from doing anything. It's not our responsibility to tell the world what it's doing. We are part of it. What we're here to do is to manage how we integrate with the world around us, this environment in which we live. If you think of your body as this is my body, well, so is this, and so is this, and so is this. And as far out as your energy reaches in any given moment, that's your world. And when our world of energy interfaces with other energies, we now have to become more aware of that energy around us. So we're in this moment of expansion of our consciousness, expansion of our ability to detect energy at longer distances. Global Heart Team that I belong to, we send energy around the world. And there are many groups out there doing it. HeartMath is doing it. There are who are just sending energy, the energy of love. And it's actually being recorded. I was told yesterday it's actually being recorded. They have a way of recording that energy. And this reminded me of the power that I have right here, right now, and each one of us do, in overcoming this simple problem of managing our aggravation. Aggravation is basically a distortion in the energy field. That's all it is. A rip in time, if you will. That's my guides talking. Because we live in this time experience. It's not real. It may sound strange, but time is not real. It's a frequency. In a sense, it's real in a sense that it's a frequency that can be measured. But it's not anything in any sense of a reality. It's a measurement. Our energy can be measured. When we feel our energy rising and creating a distortion in our thought patterns or our behavior or our speech, we can become more mentally aware of that. We can put the brain to work for something positive, to manage, back into managing that and paying attention to that. And when we do that, what happens is we let go of stubbornness. We let go of that rage or that feeling of fire. So if we look at stubbornness as the rock, rage as fire, the elements, break it down into elements. And remember that all of this is not bad. It's natural. Without which we wouldn't be having this conversation today. We'd still be in a previous state of our beingness. Our evolution has brought us here. Our evolution is bringing us into the future, what we call a future. But we're not going to move into the future bringing all of this aggravation and inability to deal with aggravation, because the way forward is very different. It's not something we've experienced before. It's all going to be new. It's going to be similar in a lot of ways, but it's going to be totally energetically different. And this is what I'm guided to say. This is not in my show notes, but as I speak, what happens is I tap into that field of energy. And if I am aggravated, I don't get that information. Boom. The wall comes down, or whatever you want to call it, and the information no longer reaches us. So let's all just take a deep breath. Feel the air in your lungs. Make like you want to cough. And then exhale. Just relaxing. Just relaxing, knowing that in this moment, we have an opportunity to look at everything differently. And that our stubborn minds are okay. It's okay. We can forgive them. Our minds are not who we are. We can forgive our bodies. Our bodies are not who we are. We can come back into saying, well, who am I then? What is my purpose? And we can let that go. Each time, just taking another breath and relaxing. And know that when we come to this place of somewhat stillness, we are at a place where we can create and accomplish things that our ancestors would have no concept of, even 100 years ago, even 50 years ago. I know in my lifetime of 72 years, things I'm doing right now were not even thought of. That's how quickly we are embracing things that in this moment we can't comprehend. They're coming at us that fast. And that energy creates aggravation. It's not a bad thing. It's only a negative thing. And that negativity doesn't have to be honored. We have to come and realize when we are in a negative state of flux, a negative state of energy. And know that in that negative state of energy, what we're doing is we are resisting. Our resistance has increased to the point that we are blocking our future self from being communicated with. I hope you can follow me on that. Our future self exists in this moment as well as we do, but it's not in time. It's happening, but not in time. So in time, we're right now entering a new month. It's now what is called a waning moon. The full moon is now less receiving less light, less light, less light. This time right now is a time when we can tap into the energies of gratitude and sharing. And yet, we wake up feeling totally frustrated, filled with angst. And that's, as I felt that this morning, I pulled a card from my friend Mia, who produces these lovely cards. And they're called Soul Inspirations Message Cards by Kalia. And on them, she places photographs that she's taken and her words that come to her through her experiencing, just like I do and you do. And the words of this read as follows: release the original experience, heal in stillness, embrace forgiveness, elevate your vibration, connect to your power, stand tall, create and manifest your reality. And the picture on the card, it's, I'm sure, hard to see here, but it's a picture of water falling into a larger pool of water from a place which could be moss-laden, some vegetation, a rock. And it's just dropping into this big pool of water. The synchronicity of this card today was that I was seeking release from my own frustration, that the computer software not responding in the way it was designed to put me in such a state that I had to step back, get up, take a deep breath, and come back. That's how frustrated I was. And I knew in that moment how, if I'm that vulnerable to something that's an object, it's doing nothing, it's a machine, where's the problem? It's not the computer, it's me. And this card tells us that we're not powerless. We are not powerless. And prior to this, the first readings I have are just some daily things. I came across this article and I copied 2 sentences from it, and I couldn't find the original author, but I'm going to assume it's the author is Brandon Bays, who is a woman, although I could not get to the original writing. And here's the quotes. How appropriate. River does not hammer against the rocks in order to get them out of its way. It just flows around the obstacles and keeps on its journey. There was more to it, but another line from this that hit me was, we simply feel them as we experience them. Then keep on sailing down the river of life until the next waterfall or bunch of rocks in the stream. And when we repeat the process, experience, feel the emotion, let go, and sail on by. Sail on by to the next adventure. That's the message today. Is that when we experience frustration and aggravation, we have the power to move like the water around it, over it. We don't stay there. Get back into the flow to your future. The future destiny of the water is to move downstream. The ultimate goal is to go back to Mother Ocean. Our eventual journey will bring us back to Mother of Creation. Let's not allow, and we have this power, allow aggravation to stop us. When we look in this world right now and we look at the news, we look at all that's happening, it's guaranteed to create aggravation. The annoyance that we have to deal with every day just to function is phenomenal. When you look back 100 years, yeah, they had their frustrations, they had their challenges, but not at the level we have today. And what we've lost, and what we've been told, and what we've been taught is that you just have to suck it up. I'm not going to do that. And I advise each one of you to not do it either. And as the water, I look at those messages from the water, being the water guardian, the water speaking to me. I found another quote while I was trying to find the original person who wrote those, who I think, and I'm going to credit, I credited with. But the next one was, a river cuts through rock, not because of its power, but because of its persistence. And that was a quote by an author whose name is James N. Watkins, and I don't know what book he wrote. It was just a little meme. But here we are. This is what we're doing. We are the river. We are the water. We're flowing forward, or we're flowing to the source. And this is what we're doing, is learning that we are not powerless. The world around us wants us to feel powerless. It wants to have us be these beings who go where they're directed. Much like when they dam a river, much like when they actually changed the flow of a river. I believe it is in Chicago. They reversed the flow of part of the river. Humans didn't care. But what about the water? What did that do to the water? This is where we're at. So the word releasing came to my mind. And in releasing, this is, let's start with embracing. It was embracing and releasing. And so the word embracing in the title of today's talk is about upholding ourselves in love within our hearts. Acknowledging that positive choices are free to make and deploy. This is your sovereign power. The word releasing is to remind us that the action of releasing is less painful when we act like the water and continue downstream beyond aggravation, beyond the aggravation, that damming of energy. Committing ourselves to the flow. We need to commit ourselves to the flow. and the positive possibilities we will move into downstream. The word that began this whole conversation is, of course, aggravation. And we're going to always spend part of our lives in some state of frustration. So it's okay to be frustrated. And the key is to not allow it to advance into aggravation. And this was the final part of this message this morning, is the difference between frustration and aggravation. That's where my show notes ended. Because we're all aware of frustration. We all get frustrated. Even little babies get frustrated. And sometimes we think that's cute. Oh, that's so cute. Look how frustrated. That's not cute. But it's not bad. What it expresses is that little infant is trying to do something, like when they try to walk. But they keep getting up, and they keep doing it, and they keep doing it, no matter how frustrated they get. But that little baby's frustration is no different than you at 50 years old. It's the same energy. And this is what we've got to do now. Look at the words, dive into the meanings of words, and come back with a new truth. I say new truth because truth was rewritten. We have been told lies thinking it was truth. And they don't dare rewrite history and say we were wrong, because how could they lead us? But they have misled us. And this is where aggravation arises from, is that awareness that we are coming into, where the song coming through, we won't be fooled again. Oh my God, I'm going back in time. Oh, I can't remember the band, but I can say we won't be fooled again. Okay, so here we are. This is how many years ago? Coming back. We won't be fooled again. We knew it then. Many of us knew it then. And we sang those songs. But we didn't fully understand what that was going to lead to. But we were pre-warned. The word aggravation makes everything worse than it originally was. And what aggravation does is it seeks to set blame in place. What we do when we become aggravated, instead of dealing with what we're feeling inside of us, we immediately attack something outside of us. And I want you to witness this in your own lives, not just take my word for it. And be gentle, but learn to recognize this behavioral pattern. We're all aware of the words aggravated assault. More so now than we ever have. There's aggravated assault happening on innocent people every day, and they're dying. They're being shot, they're being choked, they're being attacked and murdered. And it comes from aggravation. The perpetrators are not dealing with their aggravation. Even the smallest amount of aggravation has the potential to expand to that level. I'm not saying we're all going to do it, because most of us have a rational sense of awareness and a connection to some sort of teachings that remind us to be kind and compassionate, to be loving, to show compassion to others. But if we don't, that aggravated assault is actually, that aggravation becomes a weapon, an assault weapon. The issue right now is all of us are assaulting ourselves. So in closing and wrapping it up, it's like we need to recognize quickly when our energies rise to those levels of discomfort, and to take a few deep breaths, as we did earlier, to take a few deep breaths and notice that we can change the energy within us by just letting go and taking a couple of breaths. And think about the water. Think about the water flowing, and think about what we're doing in that moment. We're creating a dam where our energy is no longer flowing forward, and the water, the energy is building up inside of us. And it'll either spill over gently or the dam will explode. This is your power. This is who you are. They don't teach you in that in school. They're not teaching you to be able to, our children, to be able to manage their stress. They keep teaching us, get out there and fight, get out there and, no, it's not the way. The way is to find the path that you are comfortable with, that brings you back to taking a few deep breaths, or go for a short walk to clear the energy, and come back into the beautiful being of light and peace and love that you are, and be able to say thank you to that inner self for honoring and acknowledging, honoring it as your true self. A lot of comments went down in the line over here, lots of typing, lots of beautiful messages. I encourage you to inspire each other. My words are just my experience, my offering to you through my guides and teachers to honor each and every one of you, and show you perhaps something different, a different spectrum of light. So good morning, good morning. Thank you for the messages. Yes, we've people from all over, so thank you all for showing up. Energy of love, it's all about love. I will read the love poem. I'll call that up, and I will do that in closing, because this is just, again, a powerful message that came through yesterday from the Global Heart team, just minutes before I went on. and I offer it in the field. And that's a place where we come together and offer love around the world to what everybody brings in, um, and we collectively send that out. Oh, Gilda, I have gone through that with my most dearest family. Very painful, very destructive behavior, an unnecessary explosion. My heart goes out to you, Gilda. We all send you our love and our compassion, and know that you can come back into your own heart. And part of, when I talk to others about forgiveness, the first point of forgiveness is us. We have to forgive ourselves before we can forgive anybody else. And I always say forgiving is to be in favor of giving, to be for giving. And if we can't give to ourselves first, how do we expect ourselves to share what we don't have with others? You can put anything into that position. If we can't love ourselves, how do we love others? If we hate somebody else, we're hating ourselves. We're all together. It's, we're mirrors of each other. And if you don't like what you see in the mirror, look inside yourself and find out where that is. And I don't say that as a lecture. I say that as this is an opportunity for us to see what is that other person bringing up in me. Because there's something in me that needs to be addressed. Negative news. Well, all the news is negative, unfortunately. Find some news outlets that have some positive. Again, tune into some positive feeds. They're out there. They may be hit or miss, but we have to stay abreast of what's going on around us. But please don't stay in that field of energy that's continually blasting negative energy at you. And that's what it is. That news stream now is just a stream of negative energy. I don't care what it's presented. They can take the second coming of Christ and make it a bad event. Believe me, that's their intention. That's their purpose, and they're going to do that. So you have to pick the news and the awareness out of that rubbish of energy, that negative energy they're sending us. It's, a happy Easter. Bless you. It is happy is Easter. Easter is happy even before Jesus. The celebration of these seasons and holidays were already in existence. And we've just placed even more beautiful messages on top of them, if you so choose to follow them. Again, thank you. The last one at the bottom, Belinda, the word family doesn't mean we are to be abused. So find your true tribe. We are the true tribe. We've just got to remember that we are. And again, I love you. I thank you. I respect you. I've taken up enough of your time this morning, but I feel it's an important message for all of us. I know it was for me this morning to look at my aggravation and realize that there's the precursor of a lot of things that I don't want. So bless you all, and thank you for being here to listen and show up, because that encourages me to keep talking. Thank you. May your week be filled with light and love. May your holiday celebrations be from the source of light to you, the precious children of light. And may those moments where the aggravations come in, just turn the switch on to say, something's wrong here. And take a note. Then when it passes, seek. And those famous words are, seek, and ye shall find. Aho, matakoyasan, matyosh. Bless you. See you next Friday. If not, I'll see you somewhere in the stream, flowing in the water. Bless you all. Thank you.